What's up, guys? It is Rick Ginn here with Flip with Rick, and today we are going to talk about everything probates. If you guys are not familiar with probates, this will be the best stream for you. I'm going to walk you through from start to finish what a probate is, how to get a probate, why they are so sexy for wholesalers. And I'm telling you, if you're in wholesaling, if you're not doing probates, you need to pay attention to this video. And then I'm going to share with you my best tips and tricks on how I do probates. And at the end, we are going to go through a Q&A. So we are on Friday. This is live. And guys, jump on in. Put your comments in there. I'll answer them in order. And get excited, get pumped up. I am not a guru. I do this stuff for real. I've done in excess over 500 probate deals, and I started probates way too late. So those of you that don't know, is I did a deep dive in probate, and I analyzed it, and I broke it down step by step, how to do it in my market, and I figured out how to scale it. And today, probates are my #1 lead stream, my highest profit. And I'm telling you guys, probates are custom made for your wholesaling business. So let's dive right into it. Let's jump in. And we first want to just talk about, while you guys are waiting to come on here, let's talk about what a probate is. So, but before we get into it, I want to tell you why I love probate so much. So now I'm talking from Flip with Rick. So I've had a flipping business. I'm approaching 20 years in doing this, guys. You guys all, I know you know my son, Zach. He's phenomenal. I taught him the secret to probates, and we make it a mission to focus on probates. And that's what we're talking about today. So our average deal outside of probates in today's market, wholesaling, I'm talking about no other strategy other than wholesaling, guys. I don't do novations. I don't do really fix and flips. I do wholesaling deals. We average $30,000. So now I'm in Florida, and the market's really good, as most of you all are. So, hey, who's going to sneeze at a $30,000 profit? Guys, I have a lot of experience doing this. I didn't start out making 30 grand. I made a couple grand. I made 10 grand, and I worked my way up over the last 20 years. And that's what I want to teach you here today. Now, 30,000, nothing to sneeze at, and everybody should be entitled to do that. But by adding the strategy of doing probates, that's right, guys, $50,000 plus is my average profit on a probate deal. So you want to know why I'm so adamant about doing these, why I am the foremost expert in doing probates. You know why? Because, guys, I follow the money. And when somebody wants to pay me almost twice what an average wholesale deal is, why not do it? Guys, probates are custom made for wholesaling. They are the perfect way to make the highest profit. And in my opinion, you will not break the bank chasing down probates. So if you're just starting out in probates, or you've tried probates and you're frustrated with it, I want you to go through this, and we are going to share the entire process. So, but guys, I get it. The word probate's kind of like, it's not a real sexy topic in itself. So the $50,000, if that doesn't get your attention on this video, then go tune into somebody else. Because I'm telling you, I know everything there is about probates from a wholesaler side, and I want to share with you. So the biggest thing that kept me from doing probates was I felt like I was going to be an ambulance chaser. You know, that like lawyer or like a claims specialist, and you're chasing people down. And once I got that stinking thinking out of my mind, I really opened up myself, and I figured out how to help people with probates. Guys, when you're helping people out in probates and wholesaling, you are creating a win-win situation. Excuse me on that. You are not a burden to people. Yes, you're going to get chewed out a little bit. You're going to be told some stuff, but I'm telling you, $50,000, guys, pay attention. If you're making little $3,000 and $5,000 wholesale profits, probates will forever change your life. It doesn't mean you stop doing the other stuff. It means you add this to your arsenal. But so let's talk about why probates are so profitable. I want you to think about this for a minute, okay? These are properties that typically need repairs. So if you've ever had an elderly grandparent or a parent, and towards the later part in their life, they concentrate on quality of life, not quality of house, not making sure the house is perfect. And towards the end, a lot of the stuff, the typical stuff that's repairs on house, they just let it go. I've been there with family. I'm telling you, if you're focusing on trying to take care of someone, the last thing you're going to worry about doing is cleaning the roof, painting the house, fixing that broken step on the porch. And what happens is these properties get significantly outdated. The reality is older people are used to their culture. They're used to the shaggy carpet, the corrugated walls, the popcorn ceilings. And guys, as time changes, trends update, these houses get outdated. The biggest opportunity is to update these houses. Number two, most of the time when somebody gets a probate deal, they just got it. So they wound up getting it through the probate process. Don't worry, I'm going to go through it in detail. And they're stuck with a house they never really wanted, and they don't know what to do with it. Now, that's not everybody, but for the most part, the people I deal in probate, they just want to cash a check. It's just the truth. You got to give them dignity to do it. And when you do it, they like the idea of a quick sale and they don't have to pay in their money. Remember, some of these have a mortgage. You got to maintain the lawn. You got to turn on the utilities. You got to pay the taxes. You got to pay the insurance. Nobody wants to hold on to that forever, especially if you have to pay the bill. And if you don't pay the bill, it goes against the probate and it winds up being a liability. Why not get rid of the expense as soon as possible? And my favorite part, you guys got to understand, guys, listen to me, okay? If I had to stop doing everything for the first 10 years of wholesaling, I didn't do probates on purpose. I did them on accident. In 2012, 13, I made a shift to do them on purpose because they were so profitable. Here's the number one reason they're so profitable for wholesaling, and it's a perfect fit. They're vacant. They are vacant, which means you have carte blanche to be able to look through the house, walk through it, bring your buyers, bring your contractors, bring your partners, whoever you need to do. It creates the perfect environment to create a win-win wholesale deal. And for those reasons, that's why probates are so profitable. If you guys get one message across this, I want you to understand. First of all, if you have a probate you're working on right now, save it. When I get to the questions part, I want to help you out with them. But if you have one and maybe you have a lead and you heard the word probate, excuse me, I need you to pay attention because they can be worth 2 to 3 times the normal profit of your average wholesale deal. But so I see the questions rolling in perfect here. Guys, now I got to wake you up because we are going to go through the legal process of probate. And I got to be honest with you, I ain't no lawyer. I'm definitely not a real estate agent. I'm a guy that absolutely is in mad love with wholesaling. And I am who I am. I'm extremely authentic in what I did. You guys see it come through Zach. We love this business because it creates financial freedom, time with my family. But you got to get up for this, guys. You've got to get pumped. I'm going to go through the probate process. You can't fall asleep. So you guys, let's get you fired up.
Get the fuck out of bed, bitch. Go. Get up, and get the guy go. Time to wake up, bitch. Get up. Get up. Get up.
I tell you what, I can watch that thing 10,000 times and I find nuances, like new things in it every time. You got a gold microphone. I don't know what he's drinking. He's got a robot. He's just getting out of bed. Guys, I use this for my alarm clock. If you're not excited and pumped about wholesaling, you got to get there because it takes special people to do what we do. And I love this. I've been doing this almost 20 years. So if anybody ever questions my passion for what I do, I have seen literally everything you could possibly see in wholesaling, and I'm still here. I taught my son how to do it. And honestly, he's probably more passionate than I am. So we are the perfect combo to teach you anything you want to learn in wholesaling. Before I get into, let's see here. If you guys are new to the channel, go to freewholesaling.com. I tell you, I don't know what, I got something in my throat. It's tickling. Go to freewholesaling.com. And it is the only 100% absolutely free wholesaling course out there. I give you 19 years of my experience in that course. I give you Zach's entire journey from when he started 16. We documented the whole thing. And Zach was making six figures while he was in high school. He does not depend on the education system, the college system, or working for someone to gain his financial freedom or his personal freedom. And guys, I am the only person out there that offers this stuff for free. You should not have to pay for wholesaling. It's up to you. But if you're just starting out wholesaling and you want to learn it, we teach it 100% for free. I'll put my course up against anybody's because I do this business every day. I do not make a living charging for coaching. I just don't think it's the best use of my time. And honestly, if I'm flipping properties, that's what I do. So we use this community to share, to learn. And I know me and Zach are probably the only person that do lives out there for free. So take advantage of it. Put your comments in there and let's get going. So what is a probate? I'm going to put it up on my ticker here so you guys can follow my trail here. So what is a probate? A probate is nothing more than the legal process of proving a deceased person's will. The whole purpose is to follow through on the deceased wishes to make sure their assets are distributed accordingly. That's it, guys. A probate just means a dead person cannot sign a deed over, so there has to be a court-appointed action to transfer the property. Now, probate is not only specific to real estate. It can involve bank accounts. It can involve cars, boats, stocks and bonds, you name it. Anybody that has a legal authority over it. And if they pass away, if there's nobody else as a signer on there, you need some sort of court action to take legal title to the property. So we're going to focus specifically on real estate today. So guys, keep putting your questions in there and we'll keep going through it. So there's 50 states. I talk mostly about the upper 48. Every state has different laws on how they deal with probates. About 85% of the laws are pretty much incongruent, but there's about a 15% variation. And I'm going to show you how to look into it to make sure you understand your state probate laws. So I'm very familiar with like Florida, Georgia, and some of the southern states. But whenever I do a deal in like Colorado, Texas, or like California, you got to pay attention because there's different rules and you have to play by the rules on it. So now you guys know what a probate is. So let's talk about probate terms. And I'm just going to keep this. I'm assuming a lot of you are new to probates. And I got to tell you, this part frustrated the heck out of me because what happens is I'd have title companies, probate attorneys, even sellers talking above my head when I used to deal with them on probates. And I learned the hard way. Every time someone told me a word, I had to go in, I had to look it up. And then I'd sit down with an attorney or a title company and I'd figure out what the heck are they talking about? So the number one word you will hear in probates is PR. Are you the PR? Do you know who the PR is? How can I get a hold of the PR? I thought it was like public relations when I first heard it. This is how it was just like this code secret. PR is nothing more than an acronym for the word personal representative, AKA the person who is in charge of the probate. This is typically the responsible person within the family or even the company that the deceased person would trust the most to dissipate their assets to the correct party. So let me give an example. If there was 4 kids and the mom passed away, she will typically pick, before they pass away in their will, who is going to be responsible. Now, they're not going to pick the problem child, the one that's in over their debt, or they got arrested a few times. They're going to try to find the most responsible person. That's the person your whole goal is to connect with. Okay. So, I'm sorry, I didn't put that up there. So that is the personal representative. So when you hear the word PR, I want you to understand it's nothing more than an acronym for personal representative. Now, depending on what state you're in, sometimes they will call the personal representative the executor. It's the exact same thing. I've had more attorneys try to talk above my head. It depends on what state you're talking about. In the state of Florida, we always talk about the PR, the personal representative. When you're in Colorado and other places, California, they use the word executor a lot more. To be honest with you, I believe they're interchangeable, but I'm not really an attorney on that. So we got that one out of the way. The next one you will hear all the time about, and this kind of makes common sense, is the beneficiaries. A beneficiary is exactly what it says it is. It is the party or parties that are going to benefit from the sale of the asset. So the real estate, the cash, the stocks and bonds, the cars. Cars have to go through this with the title. Boats have to go through it. And that's who you want to deal with it. Now, there can be as many beneficiaries as the descendant, the deceased wishes in their will. So most of the times, if there's 4 kids or there's 2 kids or there's 6 kids, they divide them proportionally. So if there's 4 kids, they give each one of them 25%, and that's how it's worked. Guys, I've had deals I've done with 26 beneficiaries. The only little secret I can share with you, sometimes it gets more complicated the more beneficiaries there are, because the true essence of a probate is the beneficiaries get together and they all decide how they want to, the price they want to sell the property at. Now, the beneficiary, the personal representative of the executor, not the executor, is they are typically a beneficiary as well. So if there was 4 kids in there, one of them is usually going to be the personal representative, and they'll also be the beneficiary. So it's usually they all try to talk to each other. So if they get a contract on a property and you're talking to them, as you know, the more people that are involved in the decision-making, the harder it is to get a decision. There's always one person wants to sell quick and one that wants tippy top dollar. So once you get more than 2 or 3 beneficiaries, it can become complex. And it doesn't mean you can't do it. It just means it takes a heck of a lot more work on phone volume on it. So we've gone through the PRs. We have gone through the beneficiaries. Here's the next word that absolutely, I know everyone tries to talk over your head in this game, and I'm going to teach you this word now because you want to understand it. So you guys know what a will is just a piece of paper. It tells someone what they want to happen when they pass away with their assets, the house, the car, the boat, stuff like that. And it makes it easy for the courts because there is a paper trail on what they want. So when a person dies with a will, an attorney will go just like this to you. And they do this on purpose because they think wholesalers are dumb. I'm here to make you smart as a whip so you don't have to put up with a probate attorney trying to tell you what to do. I get title companies that do this to me. Realtors never do it to me. And here's what you say. They'll ask you, did they die intestate? If they died intestate, it means they died with a will. That's it. Don't let people talk over your head. If they died without a will, they died intestate. That's it. One means they have a will, which is testate. The intestate means they do not have a will. I can tell you this thing shot across the bow, and probate attorneys use this to test you to see if you're an authority on buying probates. And I know this because I asked my attorney, they'll ask you, did they die intestate or intestate? And I failed this test probably the first 10 times I was asked. So I'm giving you a powerful weapon. I want you to understand the probate process. You'll be taken much, much more seriously. And now I don't use the word testate and intestate when I talk to the PR because they don't understand it either. Now, when I'm talking to an attorney or a title company, this is the terminology they want. Now, when someone dies with a will or AKA testate, it makes the process much faster and streamlined because there's typically not going to be an argument at all. In testate, they have to announce the will, and if somebody has an issue with it, it becomes a major concern. And a lot of times it happens that way. People can pop out of the woodwork. So testate means they died with a will. Intestate means they died without a will. Guys, that's it. Don't let anybody talk over your head. All this terminology I just explained to you is 9/10 of the battle of a probate. And by the way, if you're saying, Rick, probates are too complex for me, they scare the heck out of me, and I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm telling you guys, if I had to start over today, I wouldn't solely, but I would definitely dive into probates, and I would find a way to take them down, because when you get one, they are so much more profitable than your regular wholesale deal. So you're not going to do 100 in a year. That's not what it's about. But if I could get you one probate and get you a $50,000 deal in it, would it change your life? And the answer should resoundingly be absolutely yes. Guys, I do these today in my market, in a highly competitive market in South Florida. And the reason I do so well is I understand the game and I'm very consistent in it. So with that being said, I'm going to give you my disclosure here. I know this is shocking to you. I'm not a lawyer. I have no desire to be a lawyer. I believe 50% of lawyers are wrong anyways. It's proven every day in court. And lawyers like to complicate probates on purpose. The more mysterious it is, the easier it is for them to charge their fees. So I'm going to tell you, most probates can be done in under $3,000 if you know what you're doing. Attorneys make it mysterious. I've watched attorneys charge as much as $15,000 for the probate. You guys don't have to worry about that because you don't pay for the probate. What I'm telling you is probate is a simple process and people like to complicate it. Most people, greatest asset when they pass away is their personal house. And I'm going to share with you tips and tricks through this whole thing. And I promise you, at the end, I will answer as many questions as I humanly possibly. So I see you guys putting in the comments, keep putting them in. And so I'm not a lawyer. I'm not here to give you legal advice. I know what I'm saying is true because I have a lot of time in this space and I want you to understand it. Now, you don't have to be a lawyer either, and I don't want you to be. And you won't have every answer to it. But if you understand what a probate is, what the terminology of probate is, then you can start to move forward in your wholesaling journey to take down probates. So guys, don't quote me as a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer. There are variations in your state, and I'm going to teach you at the end how you can look at them to make sure you're not breaking any laws. So let's get into it. Why are probates so ideal for wholesaling? I already went through this like earlier in it. That guys, they are perfect. They're vacant. They're run down. It's easy to bring buyers in there. It's easy to bring contractors. It's easy to sell your contract. And let's face it, a lot of people that take over these properties, they never really intended taking. They knew one day they'd have to deal with it. But a lot of times when the bills come in, it gets frustrating. They just want to get rid of it. And especially if you're in another state, I don't care what the market's doing. Nobody wants to put 10, 15 grand in a property, list it, pay all the utilities, get the lawn mowed. It's a lot of work. And I've seen probates sit for years, guys, years, because people don't know what to do with them. I'm telling you, they are absolutely ideal, which leads me to this next one. Why most wholesalers don't do probates. I could probably go on this topic for 2 hours alone. I'm telling you, I didn't do it. My first my first 9 years. I didn't do them on purpose. I did them by accident. And you know what? How I came to this revelation is I sat down with my accountant. He pulled 2 or 3 deals out of my pile. He goes, why did this deal make 50 grand and all the others made in like the low 20s? Now, this was earlier in my career. I said, he goes, what's so special about these deals? I go, I don't know. I went back and looked at them and we figured it out with the title company. They were probates. And that's when the light bulb went off. I go, man, I've got lightning in a bottle here. This stuff is incredible. And I had to have an accountant say to me, Rick, just go out and do more deals like that. You're going to save a ton of money, a ton of time, and you'll make more money. So you guys know I always preach quality over quantity. I'm not a guy that wants you to make 100,000 phone calls, spend $30,000 a month in data, when honestly, you can do deals like this, have very minimal overhead. I don't have an office. I've had an office. They are a losing proposition in wholesaling. All offices are temporary because we go to our customers. They rarely ever come to us. And most wholesalers don't do it, A, because they don't understand it. B, they think they're a waste of time. And C, probates take time. So if my analogy is you were going to plant a seed, if I told you I'll plant the seed, you come back to it in 3 or 4 months or a year, and it's going to grow by $300 or $400 a month, would you plant that seed? Yes, that's all probates are. And I'm going to show you the biggest objection wholesalers have. They think probates take forever. Guys, my probates are all done in 90 days or less. We have a few exceptions, but for the most part, I'm going to show you how to do a probates without waiting till the probate is complete. That is a secret. Attorneys will tell you you have to wait till the probate's done. Why? Think about it. The more complicated they make it, the more secrets they tell you about probate, the more they can charge the client. I've seen $15,000 bills for a probate, and I've seen probates done as little as $1,200. Why? Because one thinks he's a wizard. He must have got together with the other gurus out there. Guys, there's no secrets. I'm telling you, anyone who tries to give you a secret they're just messing with you. So they do it because if they give you the secret, you'll have to pay them for it. And then they think you're magically going to fix your problem. And the reality is just a marketing scheme. So guys, do me a favor. I see some likes hitting on there. Dude, give me some love here. Give me likes. I'm going to teach you guys for free. I promise there's no upsells in this. No one's going to call you and offer you an $8,000 course, $10,000 course. I hear you guys all every day tell me about, hey, these guys are calling me. Guys, I'm not here to flip students. I'm here to flip properties. And most importantly, teach you how to flip properties just like I do it. I believe there should be no secrets. You should learn wholesaling for free, just like you learned your ABCs. So guys, I really appreciate the thumbs up. Okay. So what else do I get? Why do most wholesalers, you know what? They just don't understand probates. Everybody wants to run everybody over, get a deal real fast. And honestly, if you had to wait 3 or 4 months to get a $50,000 deal, do you think that's better than chasing around $3,000 and $5,000 deals or doing all these like new fancy terms? Everyone's trying to create a new term to sell you to. I'm kind of, guys, probates have been around forever. This part is never going to change in the business, but let's keep diving into it. Okay, so the next question is, Rick, how do I pull a probate list? Okay, this is simple. People have made this really, really complicated lately. Okay, this is how I started out, and this is how I suggest everybody starts out so you understand the mechanics. All probate leads are generated at your local courthouse level. That's it. They have to be filed there. They have to be recorded, and it is of public record. That is a fact. It's not debatable. Now, the question is, how accessible are these files? Well, as times change and marketers have gotten much more aggressive, the county and the states feel it's their obligation to protect private information. And I do agree with them to a point. But the reality is they're saying no to everybody who pulls these lists. You know why? Because there's so many marketers out there. There's companies out there that hire people to go to every county to pull these leads, put them on a website, and then sell them to you for $300 per county per month. You don't need to do that. If you don't have money and you're short on funds, guys, go to your courthouse and just pull the probate list. Go to the probate department, ask them for help, ask them how often they're uploaded. And some of them you actually have to physically pull. And I know you're going to go, Rick, man, that's brutal in today's age. That is a gift to you. It means you have a competitive advantage over people. The other way is you can get these county lists online on a lot of counties. Some of them are free. Some of them will charge you like a business license to do it. I think it's like $200 in one of the counties I deal with it. It'll save you that in gas and time, but understanding if you have availability, it means the world has availability to it, and you're going to have to move even quicker. So the number one way to pull probate leads is to go to the courthouse. I don't care what anyone says. It is the best, fastest, free way to do it. Now, how often? I used to go twice a week. Now, here's the good news is there's not a ton of probate leads, and it's kind of weird. Like some months will wane and other months I'm like, how in the heck did this many people die? A probate doesn't mean a person died that month. It's just a case to follow up to them. So most people file a probate within 30 to 90 days after a person is deceased. Okay. I want you to understand the timeline. 30 to 90 days after the deceased, a probate gets filed. Very rarely is it filed within the first week of somebody passing away. Think about it. If you had somebody pass away in your family, your priority is to take care of the family, take care of the loved ones, grieve the process, and then eventually give it to a lawyer to file the paperwork. Okay. The second best way to pull them is to use services. I'm going to put one up here for you. One of the ones, let's see here, how to pull probate lists. The best way, and I got to tell you, for the longest time, I did the courthouse. Guys, I'm going to save you the trouble. Any services that go out there and say, hey, listen, I have a service and I can do this. I pay people to go to the courthouse. Every service I ever used, and I tried them all. It was so hit or miss. My data was so much better. And the list was usually 60 to 90 days behind. Remember, I'm pulling leads that week at the courthouse. I absolutely crush my competition. And that's the problem with the list. It was convenient, but the information was so dated, it drastically affected my results. So I've tried every service. The one I like the best, if you want to do it kind of the lazy way, which I have no problem with that, ListRei.com. Go to the pre-probate sections. It's powerful. I'm going to talk about pre-probates at the end of it, but check it out. $97 a month. You get a 1 week free trial with ours. And guys, we use it. So I'm telling you, it absolutely works. It's not perfect, but it scrapes every one of them in your county. And we still do the courthouse on top of it to get the absolute freshest leads. And then we use ListRei.com to scrape them. And I like to use ListRei.com when I do virtual probate investing, because I'm not getting in a car and driving. If I'm doing Georgia or Tennessee or anything like that, that makes the best sense to do that. So there's only 2 ways, in my opinion, you can pull a list. Be very wary of any company that wants to sell you like this data, because in my opinion, I've just tried them all and it's very, very dated information. So, okay. So let's go on to the next one. Rick, how do I market to probates? Guys, this is probably one of my favorite topics of it. I would like to tell you it's like big bulk mailing, but as I said earlier, like in my average county, the most probates we get in a month is 60. The most I've ever seen is like 70, high 70s. I've had it as low as 22. So here's the good news is I told you wouldn't go broke doing probates. You won't. So most of the marketing is very, very simple. Can you deal with 50 leads a month? Okay. Here's the secret to marketing. I don't care what method you use, which I'm going to go over all of them, is consistency rules everything. So if you only have 40 or 50 leads in a month and you get through your first month and you go, oh man, that was terrible. That sucked. I'm going to stop doing that. It didn't work. You're like 90% of the people out there. You have to consistently do it for 12 months to get the results you desire. That's how probates work. If you want a quick hit, home run, to me out now, because it doesn't work in probates. And that's the number one problem why people fail at probates. It's not instant success. You can have instant success, but the minute you stop, you're going to have zero success. Because remember, when you talk about 30, 40, 50 leads, it takes 3 to 6 months to build up momentum to work through all those leads. And I want you to understand that. So many people try it and they quit after a month or two. Like that's like getting halfway up the hill, like 90% of the way up the hill and not enjoying the view at the top. Guys, it takes time. So there are not a lot of leads. So what I would do is do not do postcards on it because they don't work. Postcards are very informal. They don't work. What I do is do a full 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. Do not do handwritten letters on it. It doesn't work. I've tested it out. I'm telling you, they don't take you seriously when you handwrite the letters. Just take like a 14 font and just say, listen, I'm interested in buying a house in this neighborhood. My partner saw this property at 123 USA Street. Let me know if you have an interest selling. By the way, I have all cash. and I can buy the property as is. If you're interested, reach out and give me a call. That's the easiest way, guys. It's less than like 30, 40 bucks a month. It costs you on average about, the stamp, I think is what, high 50s, 55, 56 cents. The letter, the envelope, and on the envelope, just do a handwritten address. And guys, lose your company name, put your personal name on there, and put a return address on it. And that's my number one way of getting probates. People complicate the heck out of this. I'm telling you, the more personal you are, the better off you are. They don't give a hoot what your company is. They don't even care what your company name is. I go at them with Rick Ginn or Zach Ginn 99.9% of the time, and I've tested this data out. So you guys that do the fancy ones, remember, I always tell you, lose your ego in wholesaling because it will not serve you well in this business. You got to think like someone's go through probate. So unfortunately, I've been through this personally. It sucks. There's no other word for it. And nobody wants to talk about business when somebody passes away, but at some point, business has to be taken care of. So number one, just write a letter, address it to the PR. I've tried for years addressing the beneficiaries. The problem with the beneficiaries is you get a lot of drama because remember, these aren't the responsible people in the party and they'll actually drive you nuts. Always label it to the PR or the executor to get the highest and best response so you can like get down the business. I used to send like 4 or 5 out to the beneficiaries and they'll blow your phones up and you won't get to the person who's in charge of making the decision. So number one, simply mailing a letter. If you can't figure out who the PR is or anything like this, or you want to do kind of a simple shot, the PR is the best way to do it. Or you can send a letter to the estate of John Doe, whoever it is, and put the address the property's at. And I promise you the right person will get in touch with it. It's a little less favorable, but every now and then the PRs aren't super accessible. So you could do the PR strategy and send it to the estate of John Doe. And if you're sending it to the estate, send it to that person's physical property and then mail to the PR if they have a different, if they're obviously they'd be an absentee owner, especially if they're in a different state. That's it, guys. Those are the 2 touches you do on the mail piece. Now, let's talk about some more advanced strategies. You do, hey, Rick, mail's slow. It's old. Okay, I'm an old guy. That's what I do. But we always do the letter because a lot of older people, they just like it because you're not pounding on their door. You're not cold calling them, and they respond really well. Now, I'm going to give you the McDonald's and Burger King approach. So I just gave you the McDonald's approach. Now I'm going to give you the Burger King approach. And by the way, I don't endorse either one of those companies because the food tastes so good, but man, is it crap for you. The other one is you skip trace the PRs and you warm call them. And what do I mean by warm call? Warm call means you call them and you don't talk about the probate. You just say, listen, my partner saw this property on 123 US Street. Is that a property you're interested in selling? How'd you get my information? Once again, I told my partner drove by it or my wife or my husband. And I just want to know if you had any interest in selling the property. And once you can get through that initial, like, who are you? What are you doing? You can get through them. Now, I was never a big fan of this. My son, Zach, came up with this part because I swore I would never call a probate because I just didn't think it was right. And to be honest with you, if you really want to help somebody out, I can tell you this, you will get some nasty comments on it, but you will get to that lead much faster. And I'm going to show you why speed kills in this. And a lot of times people were beating me in probates and I taught this game. And so I decided to level up and Zach just went crazy and we exploded our probates by doing a warm call. Now, I will tell you this, if you're going to call someone, you better be on your P's and Q's because think about how you would handle this phone call if one of your parents passed away or your grandparents, or God forbid, like something even more personable, like your wife or a spouse. Like, have a heart. When they chew you out, just say, you have a blessed day. Do not fight. Do not banter. Don't do any of that because they don't deserve it. And to be honest with you, your approach is a little bit aggressive. So be soft in your approach. And okay, I'm not going to use any words I shouldn't use. Just be a human being. So have empathy for people, because this is the biggest problem people have with probates is we try to treat it all business. So I'm telling you, the secret in my probates is I have a heart in this stuff. I listen to people. I listen to their problems. I know what it's like to go through this, and I take the time with them. You cannot run these people over. And I'm telling you right now, the warm calling is a significant change in what I've done in my marketing. So we mail them a letter, we cold call them, I call them warm call, and then we follow up maybe with another letter, and then I'll switch it to a postcard. If you start out with a postcard, they're going to assume you're all business. And to be honest with you, they're extremely emotional. It's a tough time in their life. And these are the two best ways to get in contact with the probates. Now, let me share a little secret with you. A lot of people say, well, Rick, how many times I got to contact them? Here it is, guys. On average, it takes 6 whole touches. What do I mean by a touch? When you call them and leave them a message, that does not count as a touch. It's 6 conversations. You know why I know this? Because I documented it in my CRM. I went through all my acquisitions people. I document it with me. I even tested it out with my son for years doing it. And he says 5, I say 6. So let's call it in the difference. 5.5 touches. That's not a voicemail. It's not a text. These are conversations in person, physical, belly to belly, or an intimate phone conversation, getting down to the details of how you want to help them out. So guys, 6 touches. This is one of the reasons why most wholesalers fail in this part, is they're trying to run these people over. And I'm telling you, 6 is the magic one, a minimum of 5, but I say 6. Zach says 5. Don't tell him I put 6 up there. He'll kill me. Okay. I'm moving through this. I promise you I'm getting the questions. We got a lot of questions. So I'm going to finish up here on this. So a lot of people say, hey, Rick, what is a pre-probate? So if you guys go to ListRei.com, there is a filter on there called a pre-probate. I got to be honest with you. This is, I hate the word game changer. I hate the word killing it, because those are nothing more. I'm not an English person, and I'm probably going to mess this up. I don't know if it's an adverb or like whatever it is. A pre-probate has literally changed how we look at probates. It's another layer. So I want you to understand, more than half the people that die in the United States do not go through probate. If your mouth's open now, it should be, okay? More than half the people that die in the United States don't go through probate. Well, how can that be, Rick? Well, it's simple. Some people do advanced strategies so they don't have to go through the painful process of probate. They either change the title, they put it in a trust, they put it in an irrevocable trust, they put it in a company or something like that. You've got to understand, most of these deals don't have to go through probate when they do it. Now, okay, well, Rick, why are we talking about pre-probates? A pre-probate has 2 filters on it, okay? Number 1, the person has to be deceased. How does it trigger that file? A death certificate is recorded. Not that it's public record, but it's county record. And all these data people have access to the information. So it tickles a death certificate, a recent death certificate. And they also cross-reference it to see if they owned any real estate. If they owned real estate and there's a death certificate, it's a pre-probate. That's it, guys. The reason why this list is so valuable with ListRei.com is you can find 50% of the probates that are never going to come up on your average wholesaler's list, and you have the advantage of chasing them down. Guys, if somebody passes away, there's always an opportunity to buy the property and create a win-win situation. Here's a little secret. Like in the state of Florida, I know Georgia, most of the southern states, we have what we call a homestead exemption. And simply what that means, if I reside in the property, I live there full time for at least 1 year, and I prove it's my residence, not only do I get a discount on my property tax, so they usually exempt you the first 20 or 25,000, up to 50,000. If I get sued, my equity in the house is completely protected with this homestead exemption. That's why O.J. Simpson lives in the state of Florida. But most states have very similar laws. Now, if you have a homesteaded property and it falls under a certain financial threshold in your state, I believe in the state of Florida, it's 500,000 or 700,000. I go back because they keep raising it. Is that property does not have to go through probate, but here's the catch: they still have to get a lawyer to file a piece of paperwork. I'm not going to give you the paperwork name because I'm going to give it to you. In the state of Florida, it's called the Summary of Administration. It's basically a lawyer files a petition to the courts saying this property was homesteaded and we need to pull it out of the probate. Now, a good attorney that's working with the family knows when to execute this, and they do it very fast, and you have to catch it quick. How do I catch it? Pre-probates, ListRei.com is the number one way we catch it. The other ones that are going to be on a trust, sometimes in a company, there's all sorts of crazy ways people can own properties. A lot of those properties do not have to go probate. And that reason why pre-probates are so valuable in wholesaling. So I didn't really do it before. And then once we found out the strategy, we added to it. And it helps us catch 50% of those properties that we would have missed on a regular probate list. Because a probate list, they have to file a probate to get that. Now, in some states, you can see when they file for the summary of administration on the homestead exemption property. Guys, you don't have to worry about this. If you can find people in pre-probates or actual probates at your courthouse, you do not have to be the expert on probates. I thought I was going to have to wait 3 or 4 years to understand how to do a probate because I didn't want to look like an idiot. I'm telling you, leave the legal work to the lawyers, leave the title work to the title company, and you go and work with sellers. That is your highest paid skill in wholesaling, and it always will be. And here's the best part. If you don't know the answer, you're going to develop relationships with lawyers and title companies to help support you, and you get them a timely answer back. Never lie to them, and be empathetic and tell the truth. So that's a pre-probate. We're almost done. I'm getting the questions. I promise, guys. And here's a huge secret, guys. I want you to understand this. Empathy and speed is everything for your probate success. I talk about speed. If you can get to that lead first, which is what opened my eyes on probate, I'd go down to the courthouse. I'd physically pull it. Me and my wife did it. Actually, at some point, I did an entire recording of how we actually did this, how we asked for it. And I'll have to figure out, Zach, to put it up here and post it. You can go to freewholesaling.com. I believe it's all on there. But I'm telling you, speed is awesome. And the problem is if you guys buy these old outdated lists, I thought, hey, why don't I just do probates? I'll just stack up like 6 months worth and just mail them all at once. It doesn't work. It actually fails miserably. Don't do that. Most probates are sold within 30 to 90 days. End of story. Okay. 30 to 90 days. Last thing is, guys, I know this is business and I want you to run as a business, but when you're dealing with people in probate, take your business hat off, put on your father hat, your mother hat, put on your son, your daughter hat, and you've got to somewhat experience their pain to help them out. Okay. I'm not telling you do not fake shed tears. I don't need that. But nobody likes when anyone dies. And I hear some of the most gut-wrenching stories. I've literally been in tears talking to these people, and it's not on purpose. It's just who I am as a human being. If you guys will put your personal touch and help people out, if you have 6 personal visits with them, either on the phone or in person, this is the reason why I do so well in probates. Take the guy who wants to run over, give me your best price, your lowest price, all cash close. I will kick his tootie all the way to the curb. It's just easy to beat people out like that. Being a human being is required in probates. You're not doing hundreds of them a year. Take your time. If you have a probate now, take your time with it. And guys, last but not least, I want you to take 30 minutes when you get off this phone call or this weekend and pull up your state's probate laws. It's really easy to access and look at the details. It takes you like 30 minutes to go through it. At one point, I took all 48 states and shared it with everyone. I don't have it anymore. And obviously the stuff's been updated since then, but you got to take your time to read the specifics of probate laws. There's some little minutia things you've got to understand, and it will make a difference in helping your clients. Remember, you're a guide through their journey. You want to get them through their pain. You want to create a win-win situation, and you want to help them out. So you're there to service your clients. The ones that don't want to do with it, like just move on and just be really, really nice to them is the key. And guys, last but not least, I'll tell you this. Here's a little secret on probates. Most of my probates are done within 30 to 90 days. I never wait till the end of a probate. If you can get a probate under contract with the PR, you have all the power. The attorney cannot kick you to the curb. If you wait till they consult their attorney and the attorney wants to review everything and he's going to control it, I guarantee you, you are not going to be in control and you're not going to get a good price. and the attorney's going to either try to pull money out of you or get you to get an appraisal or BPO. And that's not what we want you to do. You are in control. If you can go get a contract, how do I do that? You're going to have empathy and you're going to work with speed. And if you don't have the correct answer to it, you're going to go bring somebody on your team, your lawyer, your title company, whatever it is. So guys, that's it. I'm going to jump into the comments here and I'm going to reward the first questions because I love people who take action. And let me just fix some things here. Let me get this thing scrolling off of here. So, okay, guys, do me a favor. If you're new to this channel, if you could hit that subscribe button, smash it, you will continue to receive notifications. I do not do fake lives. Our lives are real. We do them. We do them between an hour and 2 hours, and I try to make it content-rich information. And yes, our lives are always 100% live. You will never see like a live that's not live. It drives me. You ever gone to a live and they're not really live because they can't answer your questions? We're not going to do that. So also, if you could do a thumbs up for me, give me a big thumb, show me some love on this. The more thumbs up we get, the more people can view this video. And guys, remember, if you're new here, freewholesaling.com is the only 100% free wholesaling training in the world. It is the most visited site for wholesalers. And there's a reason for it, because it's free from somebody with 20 years experience. And you guys know my son, Zach, has a lot of energy. He's some of the stuff he's really good at it. And we are, in my opinion, the perfect combination. And I will always be myself. I'm 100% authentic. And so is Zach. That way it keeps us in the game and we have a lot of fun. And that's it. So let's get into the comments because it is thick. So I am going to roll through these a little bit on the faster side. So if you guys see a question, if you haven't put it in, if it answers it, try not to put it in. So, oh my gosh. Awesome. So guys, give me some thumbs up as we go through. Let's see here. Hi in Tampa. Okay, I see Shannon. I see Ryan. It doesn't know they have more. Okay. So if we can do questions about probates, and then I'll open it up to any other questions. But since Josh did this early, I feel obligated to help him out. Josh says, what should you do if you get a contract, then the person doesn't know they have more bills and they want to pay with them? Should you let them out of the deal or make them pay? So number one, hopefully you negotiated the best deal and you get it under contract. Okay. It's not for me or you to decide how much they owe on it. So at that point, you give it to your title company and they come back and give you a title search and tell you about all the stuff that's owed against the property. Now, Josh, depending on what the amount is, you need them to cooperate at the end. You can't expect someone to pay money to get your deal out of it. So I don't know if we're talking about 50,000 or you're talking about a couple thousand. If you want to put the numbers at the end, I can try to help you out. But I mean, if it's a $50,000 obstacle, you just got to move on. Like it's not the answer you want, and it happens, and it's happened to me before. But if it's like a few $1,000s and say you're making a $10,000 profit, sometimes it's better to take what's on the table than to posture, in my opinion. So I appreciate the early question on that, and we'll keep going. So I'm taking them in order. So put it in, guys. If you put it in here, I promise you at some point I'll answer it. So Joyce Jace asked also how often I pull the probates. I started out doing it twice a week. So my recommendation to you is do the county that you're most comfortable doing business, and pull it twice a week. And what happens after 30 days, you'll figure out the pattern. Maybe you only need to go once a week. Maybe you do it online, but form a relationship with somebody in the probate department, and they're usually pretty helpful, and you'll figure it out. Understanding you're going to get some resistance up front because they're trying to filter out marketers from selling this information out. They hire people to go to these courthouses, and it starts to clog the system because you get people coming in and out all day just pulling information for what? So they can sell it. And that's where it gets a little bit problematic. So I would try at least once a week. Worst case scenario, you got to do it twice a month. If you have a really, really small county and small base, if you got a good amount of leads, I go twice a week because remember, speed kills in probate. I know that's a bad terminology, but it's true. Come on, guys. How often? So this person asked, how do you get a hold of them? That's up to you. But when you pull the PR, there should be a mailing address on it, and you got to learn how to read PRs. I'm not going to teach you. probates. I'm not going to teach you in this video how to do it, but honestly, if you use somebody at the courthouse and you take your time and you're super sweet with them and you just compliment the heck out of them, you girls have a better way of pulling this information. Us guys were a little bit more brutal. So for full fairness, I used my wife a lot in the beginning because nobody says no to a woman that seems like she's about to cry or in distress. So a little trick, do what you got to do. You got to understand there's a lot of information out there, but you can pull it from there. And then from there, you can either mail to them or you can skip trace it. So I love it. You were finding these properties by accident. That's a true story. And it's a byproduct of my marketing. And I've changed it since then. So the beautiful thing about marketing, like anything else, you learn certain techniques as you go through. And as you guys, you get in here 10, 20 years, you're going to teach me all sorts of stuff because I'm doing this till the day I die. End of story. Never retiring. I love what I do and it's fun. So Adam says, I love this. Awesome. Okay. Okay. These are good questions here. So he says here, Dooney. Let me know if that's right. I can get a contract signed. If you can get a contract signed for 135 and the ARV is 170, and it needs no work, it's really a no-brainer. That is an easy candidate to do an assignment. That is the process of selling your contract to a third party and you taking the difference from your contract price to your end seller's price. You prefer to sell it to a cash buyer. Why? Because it's faster. There's no underwriting and it happens really quick. On an assignment, you don't pay any fees when you do that. So yes, you can. Barbara likes our video and I appreciate it, Barbara. Guys, every time I watch that video, I have to like study it all the time. Remember, I almost see it every day. So I love it. Do you have direct mails for probates? Do you have direct mailers for probates? I do, but remember, it's not a high volume. You guys don't want to, I don't go to a print house for our probates. We do it all in house because we do less than like 150 letters a month. And it's a very personal touch. We do a blue ink touch. If you guys want to learn a little bit, let me see here. If you want to learn how to really kill it in mailing, go to mailingmastery.com. I have a course in there. It's 100% free. It's just a very detailed course to teach you how to dominate direct mail. Now, for full disclosure, I don't do probates in there because it's very simple. You don't need a mailing house to do it. But if you want to do any other type of direct mail, everyone asks, hey, Rick, how do you do direct mail? Go to mailingmastery.com. I show you how to do the entire thing. And I promise you, there's no upgrade fees on it. So, okay, keep the questions coming. Let's see here. It's Kayla. What's up, buddy? We spoke to him from Hawaii yesterday. He does windows and he's in an awesome location. So, and I believe he's trying to do it on Hawaii. He could do it virtually. And my son taught him a couple techniques on how to overcoming his fear of cold calling. And the biggest thing is we told him to take action. And instead of giving him a script, we gave him something to have a conversation with. And if you guys want to check it out, I believe it's recorded. Check it out. But awesome. I don't know how to do it. I don't know if you do it like that or not. So, yeah. So Raphael asks, if you JV with someone and they have a cash buyer, should they share the cash buyer info with you? Well, that's like a personal touch and you start to kind of get in like realtor territory. I would do this, Raphael. As of lately, wholesalers don't have a lot of respect for each other and they constantly like undercut each buyer's list. I've personally experienced this. So understand, if you JV with a deal, they're going to get your buyer's information. There's not a whole lot of way around it. So just be aware of it and maybe have your person you're JVing sign a confidentiality agreement and let them know there's some pain involved if they go around you. But I'm going to be honest with you, they still all go around you. So, but what I would do if you have the buyer, I would let them know if they ever call you, please contact me immediately and let your JV partner know that going around my back, it'll get back to you like right away. And then you stop doing business with people like that. Okay, Raphael, what kind of deals does creative financing come into play? Any deals that doesn't fit in the traditional wholesaling manner. Sometimes it has too much debt on it. They own it free. They just don't want that price. And the word creative is exactly what it is. Creative creative real estate is all about cash flow. It's not as important about what you get under contract for. It's about the monthly cash flows. So ideally, you don't want a property that needs a lot of fixing up. And if you concentrate on the cash flows, which I have other streams that go into more details on that, but that's what they derive on. Okay. Adam's going to watch this replay like 10 times. So you guys should do the exact same thing. I'm telling you, I'm giving you like 10 years of my experience doing probates. You are literally getting a cheat sheet on how to get it. And keep in mind, I have not charged you a dime. If that has value to you, give me a thumbs up right now, because my whole goal is to get this group bigger than anything else out there, to show people that we can work together. I can give you information for free. I know that's shocking on the internet, and this old school way of doing coaching and courses, it's just done. It's done to death. I'm tired of it. I don't knock for people. They want to do it. That's fine. Enjoy your living while you can do it. My job is to make this information as accessible as possible. And the more people I get on this channel, the more people I can help out, the greater of a legacy I'm going to have. And I want you guys to be part of it. So keep the thumbs up. I appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button. Awesome. Brandon, the more complex, the better, because less people go out and try to attempt these deals, less competition. I agree completely. The reason I did not start in probates, because I felt it was like overwhelming and I didn't know what I was doing. And it was probably one of my biggest mistakes. I don't believe there's any mistakes in life. I believe everything happens for a reason, and it's how you learn in life. So I'm not justifying all the D's and F's I got in high school. And I apologize to my parent, if my dad's listened to it, but the reality is you got to fail somewhat to learn in life. And I agree 100% with you, Brandon. So, all right, get that deal done. So you're getting some support here, guys. Use the chat. You can work with people that will help you out. We're all like-minded here. And remember, the whole goal of this channel is I'm not going to secretly sneak in your pocket and hit you with an upsell, a $5,000 or $10,000 course. It's not. I flip properties. I don't flip students. And I want to change how the wholesaling business is. I believe everybody should be able to learn it for free. So, remember that. Okay. So Rocky, I got to make some assumptions here. What should I do next when I have the attorney's number that is assigned to the house that I want to buy? Do not call the attorney. Absolutely worst decision you can make. You need to get in charge and hold of the PR, which is the personal representative, or the executor, depending on what state you're on. The attorney is going to roadblock you. They're going to make it difficult, and they're going to tell you all the stuff you can't do, and they're going to talk down to you. So, Rocky, get a hold of the owner. That is the key, which is going to be the PR. So the owner's passed away. We need to find the PR, the person that's going to be in charge of it. That information you find out on the actual probate court document. You guys getting this? Contacting the attorney when a probate is filed is a waste of your time, because they're going to tell you everything you can't do. They're going to try to discount you as fast as possible. How do I know? Because I went through this roadblock. Now, if I form a relationship with a probate attorney and then they refer me a file, they know how I operate. I've pre-framed the conversation and they're easy. If I try to hit that attorney, I don't have a relationship, I am nothing more than a number to them, and they're going to try to get the highest and best and almost act like a realtor for the client. Okay. Fred asked, do I need more than letters of testimony to allow title companies to close the sale? Fred, once again, this is where I want you to take 30 minutes and read through your state's probate process to understand. The easiest way is to talk to your local title company. It's not a shortcut, but they will give you probably a 2-minute answer to this question. That's how I would handle. They need to get some sort of official letter, either a letter of administration, a testimony, whatever it is, to clear the title for someone to sign on behalf of the deceased person. And that's what probate's all about. So Q's active today, man. He says, tell me more. So, okay. All right. Hey, what is the best list in South Florida, Fort Lauderdale? Now, I grew up in Fort Lauderdale. A lot of my family lives there. So you guys' population's booming. There's a lot, Florida's the place where people go to God's waiting room. So they're the exact list I told you. Get access to your courthouse, either go in person or go online, or go to, let me show you on here. I put it somewhere. Where is it? So I don't have to keep repeating. I'm going to leave this up so I don't have to keep repeating. Go to listrei.com and use the pre-probate filter. It is golden, guys. It makes a huge difference in our business. And I appreciate it. So I'm terrible with names today. You guys got good creative names. Us people named Rick and John and Sally. We're jealous of people like that. I'm not even going to try to butcher your name, but I love it. Speaking of awesome names, I got Yasan. Hopefully I pronounced it right. What's the process of getting probates list? Guys, scrolling on your bottom, either go to the courthouse, it's free, go in person, or get an online account and figure out how to do it. The best way is to go to your courthouse, talk to the probate department, and kill them with kindness. Bring a lady aside, because ladies get more information from people than men do. It's just a fact. I'm sorry. It's truth. Compliment my wife on it. So, or go to listrei.com and get the pre-probates. That's what I do. So what's up, Tony? A little shout out to you. Tony's here on all the live streams. I know he's taking this information because he's getting the best wholesaling course out there for free. And I think he can verify. I don't sit there and pound you people. And I know Zach doesn't. We just want to share our information. Instead of me giving up all my time and scheduling every minute of my day, I love to have freedom of time. So I love to take a couple hours a week and just chat with you guys. And Zach is so passionate about what we do. And I know you guys enjoy that combination. So, so here's a good question. Rocky says, do I need funding for a probate deal? Guys, this depends on the type of deal you're doing. If you get a property under contract and that contract's assignable and you have a good spread in it, and especially if it's vacant, 100% absolutely, you can assign that deal. If you assign that deal, you technically don't have to fund it. Now, I'm not getting into like legal work. I'm not a lawyer here, but in theory, you can put it under contract. You can sell it to a cash buyer for an assignment and collect that on the HUD. You typically have to put down some sort of earnest money deposit, and you might have to put down $100, $500, $1,000. And hey, Rick, what if I don't have that money? Go partner up with someone. I always tell you guys, you got to have the intention to buy the house. How do you get intentions? You prove the ability, either through your credit score, monies you have, private money, transactional funding, or a hard money loan. So awesome. Good question, though, Rocky. I love that stuff. So hi, Tiana. She asks, let me roll it up here so I can see it. I was building my buyer's list, and one of my buyers told me he likes lots. I said, onesies, twosies, threesies. I could have heard wrong, but maybe he went something else. Do you know what he means by that? I have no idea. If somebody has an answer to that, please put it in the comment sections. Guys, you can flip land just like you do houses. Maybe he wants to know if you have 1, 2, 3, multiple lots available at a time. A lot of buyers just want to take down as much as possible. So, Takia, he's over in Hawaii, and I agree with him. So based on your relationships with your community, everybody around you, and if you'll take the time to be empathetic, help people out, and come from a level of service, there's no reason you can't make a ton of money and help the family out. So I agree completely. Relationships are the difference in making a ton of money in wholesaling or just being average. Rocky says, can I find probate leads in PropStream? Yes. Go to listrei.com and look under the filters, pre-probates. Honestly, that's how I do all my virtual markets. Some of my local markets, locally, we pull them. We physically pull them, or we do them online. So either way works. So Hassan says he loves it. Okay, guys, we're ripping through questions here. So PR stands for personal representative. It's just an acronym. Personal representative, that's the person who is in charge, the responsible family member in charge of taking care of the last will and testament to make sure their loved ones' wishes come through. So Tony's a busy guy. I bet Tony gave me a thumbs up. You guys give me a thumbs up. I appreciate it. The more it climbs, the more inclined I want to stay on this live. I want to answer questions because I do this for free, man. Like why people charge, And by the way, I think the one-on-ones in coaching is kind of dead. It's more like 100 people on Zoom, or you have group A, group B, group C, D, and they schedule all day. You guys aren't getting on one-on-ones anymore. Actually, me and Zach are the ones I know that do one-on-ones, and we do it for free. Everyone else has a minimum $5,000 charge. So Adam gets it. So I made the burger analogy. So McDonald's, I send out a full letter, and the Burger King is my son calls and does what we do, a warm call. Some people appreciate the letter and they feel it's respectful, and the other person thinks the letter is junk mail and they rather have the phone call, and vice versa. So good point there. That's funny. Hey, Tony, you get a lot of respect. So guys, I'm telling you, put a comment in here, I'll answer it. I don't know any other guru sit here and answer questions live. Most of them just sort through the ones that appease, that they can walk you through their funnel. I don't have a funnel for you. Funnel. I like funnel cake. I think that's really good. Shannon says he finds Redfin's more updated information in comparison to PropStream. I mean, Redfin's, I mean, it's a useful tool. They have some interesting stuff coming out with it. But when it comes to verification, when I'm talking to a motivated seller, I prefer PropStream because I have the mortgage in front of me. I know the approximate equity. I have the map location. I have comps. I have everything in one click. But, you know, do what works best for you, Shannon. Like, I don't care. Whichever one you want to do is completely up to you. So it's not required by any stretch of the imagination. Guys, do what works for you. I'm just sharing tools. And by the way, everything I recommend to you or anything I do with that means I actually use it in my business. So I don't put anything up there I haven't like driven for at least a year or two. So, okay. Let's see. Okay. I lost track. I'm gonna get back here. Guys, keep putting in the questions. Keep giving me the thumbs up. Okay. I'm catching up here. I appreciate it, Steve. Hope you're getting value with it. Don says the clerk of court's website will show it. Remember, it just depends on what state, what county you're on. They're all a little bit different. The crazy thing is I go to one county here and I go to one 10 miles away, and it's like completely different in the same state. So leave it to a government to make things complicated, but they do. So you learning the process in your local county, in your local state, will give you the upper hand in the long run, as opposed to most real estate investors don't want to take the time to figure it out. Okay, so Don's got an awesome question. I'm going to give a shout out to Don here because it is a great question. Is there a process the seller has to go through before you get them under contract? So let's define something here. The seller is going to be the PR, which stands for personal representative, AKA the executor in certain states. PR means personal representative. Once the court appoints them PR, they have the legal authority to enter in a contract for that property. They are your seller. So once they get appointed, now, Don, I'm going to share a little secret to you. The PR already knows who it's going to be before they even file the court process. So if I reach out to someone, maybe I warm call them, and Sally is going to be the PR, but she hasn't been designated by the court then, but she's eager to sign a contract, go ahead and have her sign the contract, because that mental capacity blocks out any other investors that can take that deal over. She or he will not list it. I'm going to use the she in this one. And that gives you first right to that property. Now, once they're designated PR, I'm going to go back and have them re-sign the contract and redate it to make it perfectly legal and covered. But that's a little strategy I use all the time. So listen, if you know you're the responsible party for the person that just passed away and you want to sell that property, and somehow Don connects with you and she says, can I sign a contract? Absolutely have her sign it. She's committing to the property. People's words are usually a lot better than what they put in writing, in my opinion. But then if it's 30 days later, she's then officially appointed with the document, just go back and update the contract. And that covers you both ways. Understanding she doesn't have the legal authority beforehand, but she's giving you her intention and word, and that works out. Whenever I have that happen, 90% of the time, it's very, very successful. Okay, Don with bringing the quality here. Don, you better give me a thumbs up when I'm done with this question. So he has a follow-up question. How do you make sure the one they sell, if it takes 30, how do you make sure you're the one they sell to if it takes 30 to 90 days? The exact strategy I just shared with you. Once you get a signed agreement, most people put the property to bed because they feel they have a done deal. Now, you guys are probably asking, well, Rick, how can they sell the property before the probate's done? I'm telling you, lawyers hide this stuff because they want to charge you $450 an hour to figure it out. A probate does not have to be completed to sell an asset being the house. They put provisions in probates because some houses are expensive to run. They have a mortgage, they have utilities, they have property taxes, they have insurance. You got to maintain the lawn. This eats away. So if I had to wait 1 year for a semi-complicated probate to complete, that means you got to make 1 year of payments. Well, if those payments are like $3,000 a month over 1 year, that's $36,000 that's going to eat into the estate. So there is a provision for most states. I'm telling you, I know in the state of Florida, and I know at least a dozen states I've done business with. Remember, you got to read your local laws for probate. Is they have the ability to file a petition to liquidate the asset. Okay. If the PR wants to do that and they're in 100% agreement that they don't want to spend any more money to take care of the house, then the proceeds are they have to open up a checking account for the estate of Sally Smith. And so when we buy the house or I assign it, say they got $100,000 of proceeds, that sits in an account. But here's the key, it's not bleeding anymore. And the attorneys don't like that because they can't file like expensive. I see some attorneys in the state of Florida, we got to get an appraisal. There is no statute that says you have to get an appraisal. Okay. All we have to do is submit the contract. Most of these houses are run down. If you guys are worried about the price on it, if your seller is okay with it, meaning your PR, your personal representative, it's 9 times out of 10 never going to be a problem. These houses are run down. They're vacant. There's issues with them. Most states do not require an appraisal, a BPO, or anything like that. It's a made-up fantasy. Lawyers tell me that all the time. Ask them for a statute for it and watch how they respond to you. So now there might be some states that's required. I'm just telling you that's the exception, not the norm. So awesome question, Don. Right now, we should get out an award for like the best questions in this. So guys, keep them coming. Give me a thumbs up. Let's keep going. So I answered this earlier. It says, how many times do you go to the courthouse for probates? Depends on your county. I would start out doing it at least once. If you want to step up your game, do it twice if it's close. But after 30 days, you'll figure out what the flow of the data is, and you make that decision. Remember, speed kills in probate. The sooner you can get to that lead, the better the chance you have in taking it down. Opposed to the guy that pulls the data once every 6 months, he has no shot against someone like you. Put on your family hat. I agree. So like be a human being. So Ryan says, great video. I know Ryan's going to give me a thumbs up. So guys, just keep thumbing me up. It's the fee for watching the show. And then if you guys can subscribe so you get notified when it comes on. And remember, everything we do is for free. I want to create a legacy. Me and Zach are going to be the only person out here that give away all our content for free, because I think we're so good at what we do and we're so passionate what we do. If I do not collect money from you, you know I'm giving you the accurate information. You know I'm not spinning you. I'm not walking you down a funnel. I'm not inviting you to some crazy mastermind. You're in the mastermind right now and you get it. So I'm out to prove other gurus wrong. You don't have to charge for everything in life. I promise you it will come back tenfold to me and Zach. I'm not even worried about it. So Don agrees with me. I appreciate it. Here's a good one. So Shannon asks, do we hire and pay for a probate lawyer, or does the PR handle that? So I'm going to tell you, don't do it. Especially if you're starting out, let them hire their own probate lawyer. If you want to help research them, maybe give them 3 or 4, that is the perfect opportunity for you to find probate lawyers in your area that you can work with, because now they need you as opposed to you needing them. But I try to stay out of it. So this is the value if you have time to develop a relationship with a probate lawyer, but you're never going to pay for it. There's some more complex strategies we'll go into maybe on another live. So guys, make sure you tune in and you're subscribed and I'll share it with you. But no, let them do it. And to be honest with you, if people die with a will and the house is their biggest asset, in my opinion, my experience of doing hundreds and hundreds of them, very rarely do they exceed like $3,000 in total cost, which isn't bad. I mean, because about 1,000 of that is court cost, and the other part is that, the attorney's got to take his share of it. So how are we contacting the ListRei probates? So if you go back and rewind, I don't know the exact minute, the best way is to write a letter, spell it. Go back and rewind the video. I promise you in the beginning, we just do 8.5 by 11 letters. We do it, just do it on a Word document, 14-point font, and sign your name in blue ink under when you print it. It gives a personal effect. It has a huge effect on these deals. And use your personal name, Tom. The other way is you can warm call them. Basically means you're skip tracing them. And if you rewind the video, I give you a basic conversation piece on how to approach those people. Man, this is crazy, guys. I keep the questions coming. Double C says, thank you. Tony says, I strongly dislike pre-recorded lives. I go, listen, I get it. I like it because people, but I don't like, if I see a live, I'll click on it. Hey, I can maybe communicate with this person. To me, it's just disgenuine when it's not live and you know it. And you know why? Because you see it up all the time. Live is live. And if we keep live authentic, it's live. But the minute you're passing off live as recorded as live, to me, you lose authenticity. I just want people to fix it. I listen, it's a clever strategy. I thought about it. Me and Zach thought about it. I go, it's not who we are. It's not what we do. That way, if you'll never know when I go live, Tony, if I constantly have recorded one. So that's the reason. I'm not hating on people do it. I wouldn't do it. So awesome. I have to watch one. So Tiana, here's my tip. And actually, I did a live yesterday with Zach, and I had a lovely lady out of Tampa. I forget her name. I'm not the best with names. But she wanted to know about, hey, I have this property. What do I need to do? And we were looking up all sorts of stuff. We probably spent 15 minutes, and Zach just picked up the phone and called the seller. Now, it went to voicemail, but what I'm telling you is, instead of wasting like all your time, so you're talking about what type of, so you don't want to do any filters on pre-probates because it's a small enough list to begin with. So don't filter out size of the house or anything. I don't care if it's $1 million house. You need as many leads as humanly possible. So no filters. But Tiana, if you're ever in question about like the property itself, just call. Don't waste time. If you have to spend 10, 15 minutes on every lead, you're going to eat up hours of your time, and the money is in talking to the sellers. All right, Tony, man. I feel like I'm going to owe you some money at the end of this one. I appreciate it. Sabrina says, great info. Thank you. I want to specialize in probate. So you're in the right place. We teach all about foreclosures, pre-foreclosures. Guys, if you're new to this channel, if you go to freewholesaling.com, we teach you from A to Z how to get started in wholesaling. There's never a charge for it. It's 100% free. And I know my information beats 99.9% of all other coaches out there because I do this business actively. I am not a full-time coach. I am a full-time legacy builder, and I'm passionate about it. And my entire family is involved in my business. So if you like that style and you like authentic people, you're in the right place. So Jennifer says, awesome. I appreciate you, Jennifer. Thank you. She'll give me a thumbs up. Don says, do any ownership have to be transferred before any action is taken? Now, the ownership is going to be, the ownership takes place when the property is sold. So all you're looking for is some sort of court-appointed action that gives someone the authority to sell it, which is going to be the PR. So everything handles over. Now, the only time that's not true is when they want to keep it in the family, and then they just title it usually in all the beneficiary's name, or they assign it to a trust or something like that. Fred's bringing the heat here. If a probate is filed, doesn't that mean the executor has already engaged an attorney? Should I contact that attorney? So the first question, yes, it requires an attorney to file a probate. Now, you can do a pro se filing for a probate, but I'm going to be honest with you. Most judges, they hate it with a passion and they reject like 90% of them, at least in my area in Florida. So, Fred's next question, should I contact the attorney? No. Your best weapon to get a deal in probate is to contact the seller and see if they have an interest in selling the property. And then from there, you're going to be a really good listener. You're going to take your time. You're going to go back and watch this video like 10 times, and you're going to figure out how to connect with them, be empathetic, move with massive amounts of speed. But I promise you, the attorney, if you don't know that person, they're going to stone cold you every time. Attorneys can be difficult. Their job is to protect their client, and they assume you're up to no good. I'm just telling you because I deal with this almost on a daily basis. Man, that coffee got cold quick. Oh, okay. Let's see here. Man, we're ripping through it. Guys, you put your questions in. I'll answer them, but I'm going to go a little bit more speed round because as long as I get questions, I'll keep them going. Let's see here. Okay. So Local Bull says, what do you mean speed is key to success? What I mean by that is whoever can contact that PR first, if they're open to selling them, you have the absolute best shot in getting the deal. Hands down. I've proven it time and time again. I've done over 500 of these deals. Whoever gets to them first and knows what they're talking about and is empathetic, and you're a real authentic person and you understand wholesaling, you get that deal first. Okay. A lot of people get 6 or 7 pieces of mail. So if you want to warm call them and you beat the mail, you just beat 6 or 7 other wholesalers out there. Now, that comes with a caveat. You got to have a heart when you call people. And so we don't talk about the probate. We just ask them nicely if they're interested in, I came across this property, just want to know if you had any interest in selling it. And when they chew you out, you're just going to bless them and tell them to have a fantastic, awesome day, because you don't understand what that person's going through and you can't wish that on your worst enemy. So, okay. Tom asks, if you're pulling the ListRei pre-probate without going to the courthouse, you can't find the PR correct. Now, sometimes you can get it on that. The pre-probate is 2 qualifications. Okay. Number 1, a death certificate, and they own a piece of real estate. You have to do a little bit more work on it, but it gives you the upper hand and the speed, because I told you over 50% of properties don't actually go through probate, and it gives you access to so many more leads. I would do the pre-probate mixed along with your, if you have the ability to go to the courthouse, I would definitely do that. So, hope that answers it. Shannon says, hey, can I show you the letter is used to the PRs? Listen, I'm going to tell you this. For a long time, I used to sell a product way back when. I don't own it. I don't even control it anymore. And to be honest, it was so cheap, it's like ridiculous. And I upset a lot of gurus. I think it was under $200, and I gave out my entire format. If you can find it on the internet, knock yourself out. I don't get the money. I get nothing from it. It is good information. But the problem is, the reason I got rid of it and sold it is because I don't want everyone to do the exact same thing, because in probate, you've got to be a human. So I'll give you a couple of tips, Shannon, here is do not address the death of the deceased. It just ain't going to go well. And honestly, it's no way to start off a conversation. Just say, my partner was driving by the house on 123 USA Street and want to know if you had any interest in selling. By the way, I buy all types of properties. And even if the property's in probate, I can show you how to sell the property before the probate's over. You know why you do that? Because you put in a hook. You got to have a reason to call you. So take that information I did, put your personal spin on it, and get the letter out on white piece of paper, black font, 14 font. And once you put your name on the bottom, Chain and Addis, you're going to hand sign it in a felt blue ink. And I'm telling you, these letters pop. You're going to use your personal name. You're going to put a return address, and you're going to use blue ink, that same blue felt pen, and you're going to address the outside with a return address. If you don't want to use your own home, go get a UPS store or something. I would avoid a PO box because it's not that personal. Janet, right there, someone's going to charge you $3,000 for what I just shared with you. So give me a thumbs up if you like that. And guys, use this. Guys, go back and play this thing. I got a lot of information on here. I know I talk fast, but I'm trying to get through as many questions as I can. What's the site for the probate? Okay, hold on 1 second. Now I get lost here. There's a reason kids run this stuff. There it is for you. So, okay. Let me get where we are. So that's it, pre-probates. I'm just telling you, I use this in my business. You guys can use it or not, whatever you want to do. You get a 7-day free trial period. Go ahead and try it out. I'm just telling you, for what you get with through it, it's amazing to me. Like, I paid thousands of dollars for this information before, and I can't believe they have the ability to do that. But so Local Bull says, doesn't another wholesaler have a lot of time to contact the person or try to bid it? Remember, if you get to them first and you use the skill sets I teach you on how to wholesaling, all the stuff I teach you and Zach teaches you, you'll crush them every time. Once you have a contract, there's no more bidding and it's over. So, Sue, yes, you can. It's county specific. And so, some still make you do it physically, but don't be scared of doing this. So that's Shannon. We use PropStream with ListRei.com. We use that one. We endorse it. Remember, I don't charge you anything for it, but if you like what you see, you get the 7-day free trial period. Just try it out, and we give lots of trainings on it if you use that. So, so Kevin asked, how would you pull probates if they don't reside in that state? Also, in the closing probate, isn't it through assignment or double closing? So the question number one is, it doesn't matter. So remember, you're pulling probates on properties in your county that you market. So even if they're in Virginia, California, whatever, they will come up in the probate. If it's a pre-probate, you got to do a little bit more digging. It's really not that hard. You're just going to cross-reference it with your local property appraiser's office. The second question, closing probates, is it through assignment or double closing? It's to each your own. Now, sometimes we have to go through attorneys and we have to do a double closing and we have to give them fancy, like full length realtor contracts. That's okay. Guys, I will tell you this. Don't use a one-page contract on probates, because if you have to submit it in front of a judge or an attorney, they're going to dismiss you as a low-level wholesaler and they're going to advise your client to get out of your contract. So in the state of Florida, we unfortunately have a 15 to 21 page, what we call a FAR contract. It does the exact same thing a regular contract is. You can put in your inspection period or whatever. There's no difference on it. So Bill says, my county, I assume it's in Colorado, publishes a legal newspaper with notices to creditors to check something like your county. That's true. So here's a really good question. How do you suggest follow-up to follow-up script if they are too emotional already on the first call? To be honest with you, you're going to have to use like your heart right here, and you're going to have to decide if, I mean, dude, if they're crying to the point you can't hear them, I'd probably wait 3 weeks or maybe even a month. If they're like, listen, I got a lot on my plate right now, can you just call me back? I probably either going to call them back 3 days to 7 days. As I said, sometimes you're going to be right, sometimes you're going to be wrong. I will tell you, if you go after the cold calling strategy, you're going to lose some. If you're too aggressive, you'll get none. If you're too soft, you're going to lose out on a lot of opportunities. You're going to have to find that fine line. And that's where Zach is an expert. I'm just not a cold caller, but I know the value because we make a lot of money off that in our business. So, Akio's still here, man. Awesome. I appreciate that. So one video at a time, watch it 7 times, guys. And the beauty of YouTube, social media, everything is you have access to me and Zach 24/7. Go to freewholesaling.com. I deep dive into all these subjects to teach you how to do this business. And the crazy part is it's absolutely free. If you guys are contemplating paying for a program, do me a favor, go to freewholesaling.com, deep dive into that, and then decide if you want to purchase a course. But I already know the answer to that, because they're going to tell you, well, we're going to do one-on-one with you. Well, guess what? I'm doing one-on-ones with you. I'm not charging you a dime. And you know where to find me every Thursday and Friday. So I appreciate it. The best way to find the PR is going to be actually on the probate document. That's the best way to find it. Worst case scenario, if you want to find it, just mail to the estate of John Doe at the property that's on the probate, and hopefully you can get in contact with a person like that. So Gail's like, flip properties, not students. I tell you, man, think about it. If you're going to scale something, it's super sexy if you just, like, I could, listen, freewholesaling.com, I seriously discussed about selling with Zach, and I just said, like, we can't do it. We are going to change the real estate investing world. So remember, I sold that for plenty of money, and many of you offered to pay me for it, and I didn't take a dime. So I'm just telling you, it's not always about money with me. If you want to create a legacy, most people that start selling courses, they get all excited, they sell it crazy, and then they all go away. Like, I could give you tons of names. I've been in this business going on 20 years, and they fade away because they sell these big, giant packages, and it's all about you getting on the retirement program. Guys, the world's changed. I mean, the financial system's changing, how you receive information, how you learn, schooling. A lot of it's broken. Guys, you can learn so much here. You just got to make sure you get them from credible sources. I appreciate it. Donna, yes, it's being recorded. You can come back and check it out. Okay, guys, I got let's see here. I'm going to rip through these questions. If you got a question, get it in now. And I'm not going to do repeat questions just for the time's sake. So have you been able to build relationships with probate attorneys? How do you build that relationship? Number one, it's over time. And number two, being respectful, making appointments, and your title company is the gateway to connecting with any probate attorney. So, okay, I appreciate it. I do. Guys, it's 100% authentic. I could make so much money if I did coaching, but I don't like these coaches. They come and go. Like, I see it all the time. Oh, listen, I don't use wholesaling. I do use a means to create money and buy assets that pay me some passive cash flow, some cash flow we work for. But the idea is, so many people think it's so sexy and they're teaching how to teach students. The problem is most of these people have less than a year's experience and they're teaching how to do it. There's some great gurus out there. I'm not, they're not all bad, but I'm telling you, for the most part, there's a reason they're selling you so hard. If somebody is blowing up your phone with a salesman, you're paying a huge commission to the sales guy before you even get to the person that has all the information. So you might want to factor that in. So here's a good one. When a beneficiary asks you to pay the probate fee, what do you suggest we do? Well, here's the problem is you're legally not allowed to hire an attorney for him because it's not your property. Trust me, I've tried this. Now, what you can do is you can figure out what the probate fee is, and you can factor that in. So if I'm making a $50,000 spread, and they agree to do the probate attorney fee, say it's $3,000, then just take the $3,000 out of the deal. But what I would do is I would tell most people give a retainer fee to the attorney, usually half of it or $1,000 up front, usually $1,500. They could pay the $1,500. Or if you're getting a smoking deal and you want to fund that, then understand you're taking risk when you do that. But I'll play those odds all day long. And then the other $1,500 can be paid at closing to the attorney. Why? Because it gives, number one, it gives the attorney incentive to get it done quickly, so they get paid. And number two, your client, your seller knows what the end outcome is. Occasionally I pay for the whole thing when I'm making a monster profit, but I'm in direct contact and I have a relationship with that attorney. But remember, it's not my property. So a lot of that information you're not privy to. So be careful. That's why you want to stay out of the client attorney relationship, because you're not actually the client. You would just be funding it, and the attorney will remind you every day. So, okay. Appreciate all the help. The homeowner told me the ARV is 160. He said he wants 140, but the ARV is actually 250 minimum. So now you guys know your local markets, verify the information. I never, whatever the seller says, I never take it. I take it with a grain of salt, because 9 times out of 10, it's not completely accurate. So, but yeah, dude, it sounds like you got a deal. Just go work on it. How would you get over analysis paralysis? What I would do is take marketing action right now, whatever it is. You're going to do mailers, you're going to do cold calling, and start doing it. I tell you, if you got a house you've been looking at for a while, go up there and knock on the door and get it done. All right. What's up, Rick? 18-year-old from Fresno, California. Listen, my son started at 16, 17. There's no reason. I started when I was 33. I'm giving you a leg up, guys. It doesn't matter. This information is for free. A lot of people tell me, well, Ricky, if you don't have skin in the game, it doesn't work. Okay, whatever. The biggest complaint people get when they buy from a guru is they have no money for marketing. So 18, your enthusiasm and youth should trump an old guy like me. So awesome job. Okay, guys, we are wrapping up here. I think I got all the questions. Tony, I appreciate you. I appreciate everybody on this. And let's see. So we're sending a letter. Tana, that's a personal decision. You have to make that decision. I'm not going to make it for you. I hate cold calling. I hate it. Zach will do it in his sleep. And that's the difference between me and Zach. That's why you get the 1-2 punch. Guys, if you like this information, you love it, go to freewholesaling.com, jump on there, and do me a favor. Give me a thumbs up before you get off this feed here and hit that subscribe button. And let's see here. I will put it up. Hit that subscribe button. I appreciate you guys. Have an awesome day. Give me a thumbs up. I will see you guys next week. Remember, we post more content, more videos than any other wholesaler out there. And here's the really cool thing. Everything we do is free. It's organic. Me and Zach have never run one ad. We're looking to build the largest wholesaling community in the United States. And with your help, I know we're going to get there. I really appreciate your time. You guys have a fun, scary weekend. Halloween falls this weekend. If you're watching this recorded, I apologize. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you in the next live. Have a good one. Go out there and get probate, your most profitable wholesaling strategy available today. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.